Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. Tune in for a vibrant mix of fashion, finance, and life's essential foundations. Join us for expert interviews, insightful discussions, and empowering insights to elevate your lifestyle. From fashion trends to financial tips and personal growth strategies, we've got you covered. So grab your headphones and get ready to be inspired. Tune in now to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show and embark on this exciting journey with us.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. I am your host, Teresa Lawrence, here on KCAA Broadcasting Network, 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, where we cover over 5 million households in the greater Los Angeles. And we are also affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. You can listen to us every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time on any of your favorite podcast and streaming channels. We are also in Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android app. Just subscribe to Building Solid Foundations channel. Once again, I am your host, Teresa Lawrence. I am an author, an international speaker, and a coach, and my brand is the leadership of play. I teach children and adults what it is like to dream again, to remember their dreams and to go for them. It has been my experience that as we grow older, we forget what it is like to have the playfulness of a child and to dream and to follow our passions. And what I do with the leadership of play is I get people to lean into their fears so that they can achieve their dreams. It has been my experience that as we grow older, we simply stop dreaming and we get comfortable in our lives. And I've got news for you. Life begins outside the comfort zone, and it's usually fear that's preventing us from reaching our goals. So if you make a list of 5 things that you're scared of, I assure you that your success lies at the end of going through those fears. Today on the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, we have our guest, Nancy Wright. Nancy Wright is a master certified health coach. Her work in health and wellness spans 3 decades, including 7+ years experience as a master certified health coach and facilitator trained for Your Diabetes, Your Heart Talk. Nancy helps middle-aged women with type 2 diabetes reduce their blood sugar symptoms, lose weight, and improve their quality of life. When food sensitivities, weight gain, and elevated blood sugar had her napping at 2 p.m, she became the sugar-busting fairy by losing 30 pounds and reclaiming her health. Nancy gives hope to all middle-aged women. In her personal life, Nancy enjoys her horse addiction, chocolate doodle, her daughter, and her husband, not necessarily in that order. If you are ready to have fun, getting healthier, including eating chocolate, she can help. Welcome, Nancy Wright.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So our show is called Building Solid Foundations. So I want to start with your story, how you came to become a certified master health coach. I mean, it's not every day somebody wakes up and says, okay, health is my deal.
Right. That's right. Well, it all began, a very long time ago. I've been in wellness for, this is going to age me, over 3 decades. And I started out in animal health pharmaceutical sales where I had to learn how to read the ingredients on a dog food bag, and there were a lot of split ingredients. But fast forward, and I had my daughter in 2005, and in 2008, she was diagnosed with high-functioning autism, and it was then that I knew that food was medicine. And I thought, a lot of the kids on the spectrum, Teresa, could have food aversions. And I thought, well, if I could just get her to eat something green, that would be great. And she'd scream when I'd give her green peas. And then fast forward a few years later, and I was diagnosed with leaky gut and food sensitivities. So I would always say, what the heck is in this food? And that's where a friend of mine told me about a course called the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute. And he's a world-renowned pediatrician, so I knew I was in the right place. And I took his course, and one of the most valuable things I learned was how to read labels and what is in the label, and that there's hidden names of sugar in the label, hidden names of MSG. So that's my long story short is my food sensitivities and gut issues, and then getting my daughter to eat better. And I'm happy to tell you she eats better than I do. And she loves kale now, believe it or not. So,
No, that's a fabulous story. There are so many children with autism, and I do believe food is medicine. And so if you were advising them on how to change the palate of the child and in what steps to take in order to eat in a healthier manner, what would you say?
that's a very good question, and it's funny that you asked that because I'm going to start coaching kids with disabilities. There's a big, big need for it. And because I've done it myself and I have life experience and I'm starting to do it now, I'm like, oh, wow, a door opened up for me. Well, what you do is when you're coaching kids or adults, they're very rigid, most of them, and it's black or white. So you really, black or white thinking. So you really have to meet them where they're at and find out what do they like and what don't they like. And like, for example, tomorrow I teach nutrition at the Fallbrook Food Pantry, and there's a mother and son there, and she wants me to teach him how to eat more variety and better. It all started with just asking questions. And because I'm trained in motivational interviewing, like positive psychology, this is where the master certification comes in. It's the behavior piece. So I have to really tune into him and tune into others and find out what do you like and what don't you like. And how can we make your root vegetables, that was the case in this gentleman's story, how can we make this better and how can we vary it a little bit better? So to answer your question, it's really just meeting them where they're at and asking the right questions and having them kind of dive into something. Maybe we have to saute it, maybe we have to puree it, maybe we have to blend it. Because once your body starts to recognize good foods, it starts to crave it. It starts to like it. There's a term for it, and it's called wisdom of the body. Your body knows when it's like your gut is yelling up to you saying, thank you for giving me asparagus and not a cupcake. You know, it's just... It knows, and you start to feel better. So it's quite involved, but it's really about meeting them where they're at. You know, they're in the driver's seat, I'm in the passenger seat. I'm just guiding them.
Isn't it interesting that both experiences in your life, your daughter's illness, your illness, brought you to exactly the place you needed?
So true, so true, yeah. And just to clarify, it's not an illness. It's just a different way of thinking. Their brains are we're wired a little differently. But yes, my illness, my leaky gut and food sensitivities. And, you know, my daughter is so mild, but I still wanted to get her to eat better. And the whole family, honestly, even the dog eats better. Eats better.
So, in your opinion, is just natural the way to go, or do you even recommend raw?
You know, it's funny. I don't get into raw because I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian. I'm a holistic health coach. The way that we're trained, and this is going to sound so darn basic, but I just say, eat the food that God made, not that man made. So I wish...
that's beautiful.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I mean, I wish God would make donuts on a tree, right? I'm eating a ton of donuts, but he doesn't. You know, he makes avocados and apples on trees. That's what you should be eating. The food that God made, the fish, the chicken. I mean, I don't eat fish, but I take a fish oil. So, you know, but it's staying away from the processed food and the ultra-processed food. There's a talk that I do, it's called What the Food Manufacturers Don't Want You to Know. And that's a very popular talk I do. And I do hidden names of sugar, and they have to guess what's in the food and why is it so bad and that kind of thing. But yes, it's really simple. It's just like what our great-grandmothers eat. Just eat whole food, honestly. And eat preferably the food that doesn't have a label on it. Or, you know, like when I tell people, when you go to the grocery store and you're in the produce section and you see those shiny apples or those shiny artichokes or green bell peppers, do you notice there's no label on it? It's just those cheap tear-down bags that I always rip when I'm pulling it from it, right? Stay away out of the inside aisle. They call that the dead food aisle. And I hate to say this, but I've been told it's called the cardiac arrest aisle. Don't eat the dead food, you guys. Eat the food that God made. You know, he made fish, he made chicken.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for a commercial break, and we will be right back.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Connect, and building solid foundation.